What's up guys, and welcome to DevBlog 22 Review. Now I'm sure that a lot of you have already read the DevBlog yourself, or have seen somebody else's video checking out what's new in the DevBlog. But I think that over the years playing Scrap Mechanic and checking out all the DevBlogs and stuff, it feels like I've been the only Scrap Mechanic YouTuber, at least the ones that make regular content. I've been the only one that's been more than willing to criticize the game and Axolot and their development choices. As a matter of fact, I'm sure some of you remember I even said that one of the previous devblogs was just bad, like straight up bad devblog, and that definitely triggered some people in the community. But I think I need to be a little bit more clear about that, because there have definitely been some good and bad devblogs over the years, and it's not like the content inside a single devblog in and of itself is bad in any way, but it's sort of the greater context of Scrap Mechanic's development that I sort of take into account. So one of the things that I said in my Discord was that all of the previous devblogs over the years tend to over-promise, and then the game updates tend to under-deliver. And there's also a little bit of other problems here and there with each devblog. I think if I could summarize it, I think the developers have a sort of perspective of what devblogs do for their game, and I think that sometimes they try to flex that a little bit too hard, and then they kind of lose sight of what the devblog was even for in the first place. So we're going to be checking out DevBlog 22 today. We'll see if I can say anything about that with DevBlog 22, so I'm not going to go deep into every little thing, because I'm sure you guys have already read the DevBlog or have seen somebody else's video. So this video is more or less what I think of DevBlog 22. I mean, immediately, some of this underground structure stuff, it looks pretty cool. Is that the sleeping pod? Anyway, new content is always going to be welcome. It's just, the frustrating part is that, how long it takes, ugh. Actually, that's one thing that I want to say about Scrap Mechanic's development. It's not really something that I want to get too much into this video, but I just think it's a little bit unwise to try, for your first try when you're trying to release something, like they released Survival Mode, it's almost like as if they tried to hit 10 out of 10 their very first try. That, inevitably they're gonna get feedback telling them their mistakes, no matter what. So, in my mind, not try so hard for the first try. You know, maybe you're gonna shoot for something like 5 out of 10 on the first try. People are very obviously going to complain, but then you take that feedback, and then with that information, you can get 11 out of 10 on the second try. That's just one of the points that I've been trying to make over the years with Scrap Mechanic's development, is just that, especially with early access, I think a lot of the players would be okay, even if all of these underground structure stuff didn't look so pretty. For the very first time it was released, and then in a later update it was made prettier. That's totally okay. But anyway, this looks pretty. This looks pretty. And I gotta say, this looks super cool, kind of like the mechanics of digging into the ground in Astroneer. This is exactly what Scrap Mechanic needed. Yes. Honestly, I'm just excited to try this. I want to try it. I want to see what it does. Do you understand that I want to dig a hole and drop a nuke? I want to see how big of a hole it makes. Glow sticks are a thing, finally. Wait, weren't they always a thing? Anyway, yeah, and the sticky wheels are definitely going to be a huge part of driving around underground, it seems. And this massive underground facility, kind of like a warehouse, but it seems like it's even bigger. Oh, it's even got an elevator. An elevator that you can see, not like the warehouse elevator. Okay, and they include some sketches from their design process. I mean, we can see that it's all here fully built. It's just a little bit concerning when you see things in a devblog that's only drawing, because in the past, sometimes we don't ever see it. So I'm just we're definitely gonna see this, right? And of course, the sticky wheels, adding an entirely new mechanic. This is gonna change how people even think about building vehicles, just in general, just in even in creative mode. Ugh, look at that. Ugh, look at the stretching boogers. Oh, here we go. This is showing a little bit of the performance. Look at that. Hugs right around the corner, not flying off. It's pretty good. Alright, so it seems like this entire devblog is all about what we're going to be seeing in Chapter 2, Underground, with sticky wheels, the mechanics of how that plays out, and I gotta say, these cable bots, the swarms of cable bots, I already know I'm gonna be annoyed at them. I already know that I'm gonna be like, oh, no, I gotta deal with all these cable bots. I already know I'm gonna be so annoyed at them. Look at that. It looks so annoying to deal with. That's great. So is there going to be like a bot dispenser for the cable bots too? Because then there's like definitely some cool things that people can do with like, haha, here's a swarm of like 500 cable bots. And I gave you exactly 500 potatoes. Have fun. A power generator. Yeah, I never thought that they would actually add this into the game. I mean, can't you, like, they show a gas engine here, but like, can't you just spin this any other way? Like, you can literally use the power of walks to rotate something. Or you can just put it on a controller on like 5 bearings to make it spin extra fast. I don't know. I'm just, it's a little weird. I mean, there's definitely, like, you gotta consider, like, a lot of different types of players in Scrap Mechanic, and, like, some people might not even, pull out the generator, but there's definitely gonna be some other players that will find a way to misuse and abuse just about every part in Scrap Mechanic, so I'm curious to see how this power generator is going to affect the gameplay mechanics. Aha! Digital signs in... Wait, they only come in 3 sizes of signage? Signs are definitely a good thing in the game, but this is a little bit frustrating to see because, well, not actually, but it's frustrating to think that part of the mod pack development before the mod pack development just stopped. Part of the mod pack development was to improve the ASCII blocks. The way to do that was actually to create a dynamic digital sign, which we can actually still do in the game just fine. But then this upcoming update with the digital signs raises the question, like, what new capabilities is this going to add for mod makers? What is it going to be like? For example, a very easy mod idea for literally anyone you want to make it, take it. It's an invisible sign. People are going to want the text to show up on whatever surface they want, so make an invisible panel that is a digital sign like this, basically. But yeah, this is a little bit frustrating in the sense that I don't actually know what capabilities Axolot's adding for the game code. In terms of thinking about how I wanted to make that dynamic ASCII block digital sign thing. Like, the idea is that you would only put down one ASCII block for your entire digital sign need, and you can dynamically change it with, like, number logic and stuff. It's complicated, and I'm not going to get into it in this video, but digital signs are a good thing. Either way, I'm excited to see that as well. All right, scalable wedges. One of the first things I want to say is probably going to trigger people already. Now, I'm just curious. The icon in the middle has like a 2-dimensional scale, but the wedge is doing a 3-dimensional scale. And it starts off as a 1x1 wedge, and then it's scaling 1, 2, 3 different dimensions. And you can see it's because you're pointing at the original block space, like the bottom left corner, and then when you bring it up to the top right corner, it's in another block space in 3-dimensional space. So, like, it's very easy to, calculate what that scale is. The block space thing that I'm talking about is like when you're just having that ghost icon and you see the 1x1 wedge, which block space is it in? But you're only going to see that when you're pointing at a block surface. So it raises the question then, would they be able to scale this wedge off of the wood surface? Like, would they be able to click and drag starting on the wood and then drag off of the wood, to continue scaling it in that direction? It raises the question that if you need blocks to be there for you to even scale it that big, and I don't know, I'm concerned about that because it's going to be a little bit limiting when people want to build things. Now, don't get me wrong, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to remember that I've been complaining about Axolot needing to add in scalable wedges, scalable polygons in their game for a long time now. And when I created those RGB polygons 3.0 as just like a sort of a test pack, and I went out of the way to design like brand new polygons, brand new wedges, I designed all the shapes that everyone have been asking for, there was still the problem that the game didn't support scalable parts. So there's another question that I actually have about these wedges, is that the way that it was possible to implement scalable polygons with the polygons 3.0, the test pack that I did, basically the old game code, you actually had to have upwards of 50,000 parts just to have all of the polygons in your inventory. So you had to have the 1x1x1, the 1x1x2, the 1x1x3, the 1x2x3, the 1x3x3, the 1x2x1. Like, you had to have all the combinations as a separate individual part taking up a slot in your game's inventory, which that is a little bit of a problem. And that's just for the shapes. That's just for the shapes that people want. People also want a different texture too, so that's why I made them RGB. This is a little bit frustrating to see because, I mean, this is exactly what I've been asking for in a lot of ways, but also not exactly what I've been asking for in a lot of ways, because what I've been asking for Axolot is just better communication. Like, they need to get an official Scrap Mechanic Discord so that mod makers, or just me in general, that I have a place to talk to them about this sort of thing in detail, how things need to be implemented so that it doesn't affect your game's inventory, for example. That's the question that I have for this scalable polygon. Is this just one part in your game's inventory? Because if it is just a single 1x1x1 wedge, then that's amazing. That's going to be amazing way. Then your blueprints, like let's say you have a blueprint and you put down 100 different wedges and you scale them to be, oh, there's a 1x1, there's a 1x2, there's a 1x3, there's a 1x4, and you just keep on doing that, scaling all the wedges. If it's just one part that has the scaled information stored in the blueprint, then that's only one UUID. That's only one game inventory slot taken up. It's just a distorted part, and that information of that distortion is saved in your blueprint. But the way that we have to do that sort of blueprint now, if you were to save a blueprint with a 1x1 wedge, a 1x2 wedge, a 1x3 wedge, those each count as separate parts, and they take up so much of your computer's memory for no reason. And in a blueprint, they also count as a different UUID, a different part, when they also don't need to. So a lot of my frustrations with Axolot in general, a lot of my criticisms with Axolot in general, can be summarized as, Axolot, just get yourself a Scrap Mechanic Discord so that you can get all of the details of how to implement this stuff so it doesn't have to be in a YouTube video. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it looks like it's at least halfway there. Like, again, I don't know if you can drag off of the wood surface, but it does look like you're getting 3-dimensional scaling, and it's still going to count just as one UUID. Oh, and here we're showing... Are these different saw types that we can get, or like different design? A plasma saw. Okay, apparently you're gonna need this to cut through crystal rocks. And then they're also showing NPCs. Is this the other half of his mustache or a unicorn's horn? Yeah, I also saw some people showing pictures of this in my Discord. And hey, baby walk, finally, it's a baby walk. It does raise the question then, cause like, all of these animals with the udders on their head are female, right? If they need to reproduce. Is the bull gonna have the, never mind. A fancy tuxedo, new outfit time. You know, this is actually the first text paragraph that I'm actually reading. This time we're taking a break from all the workwear and decided to make a stylish tuxedo instead. That's a pretty good decision. Just the thing for mechanics who want to adventure in style. As usual, all parts of the tuxedo can be mixed and matched. Cool. I'm gonna take the top hat for sure. For even more awesome outfit variations. Yeah, that's, I don't want to sound like a prude, but just one new outfit? No. It's, like, again, the mod maker in me is thinking that there's so much capacity that this game has if you had custom outfit mod support. And even if you had to put it through like a very painful approval process, like you had to go and review each one to make sure that it was safe for work, so to speak, then you could still have a lot of custom outfits just made by the community for free, and that's going to attract a lot of people just to play the game, especially with each other, because they get to wear exactly what they want to wear. So it's not that this outfit is bad, and it's not that Axolot adding outfits is bad at all. It's the exact same thing that I said way up wherever it was, that just the content of the devblog, it seems to be so slow. Like we'd be happier with lower quality, but more frequent updates, and then you'd be happier too because you'd actually get feedback for those low quality updates that is more valuable. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's a different development philosophy, and that's like another video entirely to get into. So this video is just about devblog 22. So what I've been saying in my Discord, like criticizing Axolot's development choices and things like that along the way, one of the things that I've said is that the devblogs tend to overpromise and the game updates tend to underdeliver. Another thing that I said was how they word the devblogs always, how did I describe it earlier? It was like that thing that they just like sort of flex, like they're overselling. They're just really like they're trying way too hard to oversell with their words, which sometimes just gets in the way of, like, it starts to hurt more than it helps. You know what I mean? I was saying in my Discord that I was really hoping to see them turn things around, to see them do things in a different way, in a way that we can really depend on, in a way that we can really see, so that devblogs aren't over-promising and then under-delivering, you know what I mean? So having taken a look at DevBlog 22, I gotta say, immediately, the thing that I notice is that all of the content within this devblog seems to be something that we should see in the next game update, in the Chapter 2 release, next game update. I don't think there's going to be a single thing in this devblog that we're not going to see, I think is the way to phrase it. And so that already is like a major change to that over-promising and under-delivering thing. But, you know, we got to wait for the actual game updates to see the actual delivery. But, you know, so far so good. So far so good. A lot of the previous devblogs and, like, even the way that they worded things, well, again, like, it wasn't the best before, but now I'm actually starting to see, like, the way that they're wording things now is a lot more objective and, like, matter-of-fact. So that's definitely a lot better, definitely telling it a lot close, like, just like it is, tell it like it is. That's all you need to do. People are going to be excited just for that. It seems like 2 out of 2 things that I pointed out seems good so far. Seems like they're turning things around. But we got to wait for the game updates to actually see the delivery of this. The only, like, you know, if I really wanted to nitpick, the only thing is just, like, things like this. Like, we plan to introduce more interactive parts in the future with new creative ways, blah, blah, blah. Part of me can't help to think that they're waiting to do so for, like, they're waiting for a Chapter 3 to do so. They're waiting for a Chapter 4 to do so. They're waiting for a Chapter 5 to do so. This is the difference in our development philosophy between myself and Axolot, because I know for a fact that physics sandbox players, especially creative mode players, like, don't hold back on them like that for the for these creative ways to interact. Like, that's it's like as if you're telling them, like, nah, you're gonna wait until we make, like, 5 more trees before you get to play it. Like, the game itself, the game engine, the game physics, we can be playing around with those capabilities in creative mode long before any chapters actually need them to exist. And I think, well, that's just the difference in our philosophy, right? Like, that's just the major difference. I think Axolot, even if you look at everything Axolot has published, like Raft, they do that specifically because it's how they release chaptered whatever. It's, like, again, it's not, this is kind of frustrating because it's not that this devblog is bad. As a matter of fact, this is probably the best devblog that I've read. These updates take so long, and I don't know, it's just it's a different philosophy that I have. Like, if I was in charge of Axolot, they'd be doing things differently. That's all I gotta say. I mean, we'd be doing a lot of the same things, but how we go about the same things is different. You know what I mean? Like I was talking about the wedges and stuff. Like, they need to get a Discord. They need to get a Scrap Mechanic official Discord. So there's a place for YouTubers, there's a place for mod makers, there's a place for players, and there's a place for general feedback. Like, you need that general feedback. How do you get feedback from players? Like, it's ridiculous. You need a Discord. And maybe get yourself a community manager too, like somebody to be the face of Axolots to deal with that community, because, like, you're gonna need it. Anyway, like I said, this is probably one of the best dev blogs that I've read, so it looks good so far. It looks like things are turning around for a lot of the criticisms that I've had for how Axolot's doing things. So that's good. That's good. I'm just a little bit apprehensive. Like, I hope the next game update doesn't take too long, and I hope it delivers on everything that we've seen. That's why the drawings tend to worry me a little bit, because it tells me these things don't exist yet. So we gotta wait. We gotta wait for the, you know, we gotta wait. We gotta wait for the update. But good stuff. You know, I did say that, like, I was hoping Axolot would turn things around. Maybe they are. They're just doing it very slowly. Very, very slowly. But it looks like maybe they are. But anyway, that's what I got for my criticisms of dev blogs in general and my review of DevBlog 22. So you guys let me know down in the comments, what do you think? What do you think of my review? What do you think of the in-depth nonsense that I get into? 'Cause, like, I'm definitely not a player anymore, right? Like, when you've been mod making and you get into, like, game development philosophy, like, I think I just gotta start playing survival mode again. Like, you know, start playing around with these game mechanics. So you guys let me know what you think. That's all that I got for you guys for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Jag